Hey everybody, you're watching Your Oxford. I'm Jerry Accioni.
And I'm Sarah Accioni.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I want to say a big thank you to Oxwood Connections for sponsoring our episodes right now. And of course here at Odie's. We're in the stage and the lounge area of Odie's here at Quality Inn. So thanks to them for allowing us to use their space.
Sure.
Well, right now we have Brian Smith.
How do you do?
Thanks for joining us. We are talking about Zero Waste Oxford.
Indeed we are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for those that don't know. What is this?
So Zero Waste Oxford is actually a committee which I co-chair with Ted Komisky, the mayor of Ingersoll.
Of course.
And that sort of describes a little bit the makeup of the committee. So there's a group of volunteers, and there are some people who are elected who are staff, who are all working towards a goal of zero waste in Oxford, which means a couple of things. It means that we will produce no waste, we'll export no waste, and we'll import no waste. So we'd basically be a community that's totally engaged in what's called a circular economy, that we would make productive use of absolutely everything, and if it's something that is destructive or hazardous in any way, then we would simply not engage in having it.
It's not part of the plans.
Not part of the plan, indeed. So it's a really exciting initiative, and it's an initiative that is quite aggressive in terms of how quickly it's going to happen. It is an initiative that will extend the life of the waste facility near Salford to the year 2100, at which point I'm hoping that the whole notion that you would bury anything of any kind would be obsolete. We wouldn't be doing that anymore. So it's really a very vigorous and active group that are doing several things. So there's a look at technologies, there is a look at how we can reduce the waste even given the things we already have or without new technologies, and then there's also how can we get the province to move more quickly on what they call a Waste-Free Ontario Act, because all the while we're in a wasteful province, we're going to have some problem going zero waste ourselves.
Definitely. And I know there's been great strides. I mean, now with grocery stores, we take our own bags, which helps. And I'm seeing more and more, there's stores cropping up all over North America where you take your own jars, your own containers, be it everything, be it bathroom products, be it food, which definitely helps out. We're not having containers, we're not having bags, those types of things, which is nice.
The single-use plastic bag is perhaps the single worst thing for the environment that we have.
It was a horrible invention.
And it's so convenient, but like Al Gore would tell us, it's actually, there's an inconvenient truth attached to them, and that is that they're everywhere. They're in the trees, they're in the wind, they're in the ground, they're breaking down into little particles of plastics that are in fact getting into animal species, and unless you are a total vegan, they're getting into you as well, because they're in fact in the foods we eat. So they are really a problem, and they're a part of a bigger issue with all those things we just want to throw away. The problem with throwing away is that if I have something here and I want to throw it away, Jerry might be catching it in his face, and he doesn't want that, right? So really the zero waste activity is really about living better as a community as well, and it's looking at how can we as a community make advances there, the kind that you've described, Sarah, but how can we make also more advances in terms of how we engage with each other as communities. So if I can just do an example, I know that there's an awful lot of chat about people saying, I was thinking about doing a garage sale, I was thinking about doing a yard sale, and that in the community of Ingersoll, for instance, they have established a date in which everybody who wants to do one is going to do one at the same time. So I can go and run to my neighbors and find the things that I'm missing that I need or want, and I can buy them at significantly cheaper than I might buy them if I was buying them online, in that over-packaging that comes with online sales, and without all that packaging, obviously. Multiple gains. And I get to talk to my neighbors while I'm doing that. And conversely, I put out those treasures I've been hoarding under the stairs in my basement, and that I'm not sure why I bought in the first place. And somebody else is going to say, I need one of those, and I will say, well, that's $1, and they'll probably bargain me down towards 50 cents, and we'll all be happy. So I'll be, in fact, dipping into my cellar and producing things to put in my wallet, and I like that.
Best recycling.
Exactly, and it's the old adage, right? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Absolutely.
You may be tired of it and bored with it, but your neighbor may have a great use for it, or recycle it into something else.
Yes, and it's astonishing how families have all sorts of things too. If you think about families with kids do this thing called growing up, and
we know that one well. Trust us.
It's not that they're tired of the books that they used to have, or the sports equipment they used to have, or the clothes, but they just don't fit them anymore.
That's right.
And so again, as you said, old-fashioned wisdom. People used to trade these things around their neighborhoods. Well, that's a very sensible thing to do. It's an old kind of wisdom, and it's kind of thing that we can do, and it uses technologies we already have to do it.
Well, I got to give the town of Ingersoll a lot of credit. I mean, events like Canterbury Folk Festival, I know, like Wash Dishes. There's a lot of events they hold that are, if not absolutely zero waste, I would gotta say they got to be close to it.
Well, actually, the Canterbury Festival has gone from having a dumpster that took 40 square yards of things down to a single bag.
Yeah, I heard that just a couple weeks ago.
And that's a fabulous model that people can do. The people who are largely responsible for that are in Transition Less Waste, and they really work on that with the Canterbury Festival organizers and with doing the dishwashing and having the plates and that. And there's somebody you can talk to, but you realize, of course, that they've also produced a document about how you can do that in other places. And that document's readily accessible, and so are the things you need. Think about the number of community halls and churches and other kinds of buildings,
businesses that
have plates and dishes that you could probably borrow from them or maybe rent from them, and then by doing that you're actually supporting that community hall or other community group at the same time as you're making our community better by eliminating waste in it.
Very true. Now, Brian, great information. If anybody has any questions, or how would they go about contacting you, the group, where can they start? Those kinds of things.
So there's a number of places to start. If you're talking about contact, you can contact us through the Speak Up Oxford site and via the county site, because there is a county representation. They funnel messages to us. In terms of starting to do things, there's a number of easy ways. The county produces a document called wasteline.ca. And that document tells you how to reduce waste dramatically at home, in a business, etc., etc. It tells you about all the things we recycle that perhaps other communities don't, so people don't assume that, for instance, the coffee cups that can be recycled, people discover all the time, say actually they are recyclable in Oxford County, even if not elsewhere. So it clarifies all those things and talks about all those things. Very useful for that. There's a lot of things you can do as soon as you start to think about, how do I make more out of the resources I already have?
That's perfect. Brian, thank you so much. Great information. We're on board. We're definitely trying at home to reduce as much as we can. So
it's definitely made us aware, and with the kids' help. We gotta say so. If you're at home wanting some more information, always go to the County of Oxford website. They do have a great website with lots and lots of information, as Brian mentioned. So, Brian, thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you both. It was wonderful to talk to you today.
We'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure hoping.
And thank you for watching. As always, please like, comment, tag a friend, and share. Again, this is our environment we're talking about. Right? Till next time. Take care, everybody.